Day of International Day of Kindness, so that's why I got this shirt on, so be kind. But the first part I see, you got to kind of create hope in the world and break it down into components, because it's a big task to think about that right off the bat, right? So I kind of break this into three parts, and I think the first part, to me, is creating hope in ourselves and the people around us. And that ties into what Gordon has asked us to do as our major initiative for this year. And that major initiative is on mental health. It's on raising awareness of mental health, breaking the stigma surrounding mental health, and providing access to resources. Because folks, I don't know if you know this, we just went through a pandemic, but this mental health pandemic that we're having post-COVID is greater than anything we've experienced. And it's personal to me. And it's probably personal to some of you out there. I'm going to share with you why it's personal to me. About 2 years ago, at work, we can talk about work off, what I do offline. We had some challenges. Coming out of COVID, I'm the kind of guy that carries everybody else's burdens on my own shoulders to ease their burdens. Sometimes I don't share my burdens with others. The person I do share my burdens with is my wife. And my wife was traveling for work 2-3 weeks a month. And so as I started having these burdens piled on me from work, and not being able to talk to my wife to get them off my chest, I found that there were days where I'd wake up and I just wouldn't want to get out of bed because it was so heavy, it was so hard. And my wife came home and we talked, and she is a professional research psychologist who studied a lot about mental health with the military. And she said, "Bob, you're dealing with depression." I thought to myself, wow, if I'm dealing with it, I got that ego, well, I'm dealing with it, everybody must be. But there are people who are dealing with depression, anxiety, loneliness, isolation, substance overabuse or overuse, plenty of things. It's rampant. And then let me tell you why the other reason that this is personal for me. As I've said, I'm a veteran, I'm a son of a soldier, and I was a soldier myself. You can argue the numbers, but the commonly accepted number is that we lose 22 soldiers and veterans to suicide each and every day. Think about that. It's personal to me because in the last 2 years I've lost 2 friends, one of whom I didn't serve with, but he was a member of my church and a good friend who did serve a couple years in the Army. And 2 years ago, in 19 days, we're going to remember him taking his own life. And the other one is a guy named Tony. Tony deployed to Iraq with me in 2006. Was my battle buddy for a year. We got shot at, we got things, all kinds of crazy things happened. Both of us came home without any physical marks, wounds. I didn't know, nobody else did. But Tony did come home unscathed. And 2 years ago, he found himself in a place where he just couldn't find his way out of the darkness, and Tony committed suicide. So this is very personal to me, and I'm sure that this is very personal to many other people here, whether it's suicide or any other mental health issue. So what are we doing about it this year? A couple of things. First, we have created a mental health advisory committee at the district level, whose job is to, a couple things. First, they are not medical, they're not to give out medical advice or psychological advice. However, what they will do is they'll help provide resources on our webpage and on our social media files, social media pages, and provide access to resources to our clubs. And Rosemary and your board know there are some things that we put on our webpage. If you want to have a program come and talk about mental health, we've got a laundry list of topics that will come. There's a laundry list of service projects. For instance, how many of y'all know about the 988 crisis line? Raise your hand. So that's what we're seeing. So a little over a year ago, Congress authorized the use of the number 988 as the mental health crisis, suicide and mental health crisis line. And what that is like 911. When you dial 911, you get an emergency services person, right? Well, you dial 988, you get someone who can talk to you if you're in a crisis. So one easy way to do a service project for that is to help get the word out. Go to the high schools and share that information. Go to Baylor, share that information. So that's out there. So that's what we're doing about mental health, is really raising that awareness. We're also doing activities throughout the year. I know you all participated and supported the Out of the Darkness walk here in Waco a couple weeks back. Thank you for doing that. It was a great thing. I didn't have the opportunity to be here, but I was at the one in Harker Heights and in Austin, and what a great experience that was. So that's the first part, is take care of yourself and take care of the people around you. If I were to walk up to you on the street and ask you, say, hey, how are you? What would you say? I'm fine, right? And what would I say? I'm fine too. Hey, have a great day. But one of us could be carrying a burden that we need to dig a little bit deeper on to find out what's going on. So get beyond that first level of communication. Ask people how they're doing. And that's especially important in this Rotary Club. If you've got some members that you haven't seen here in a while, reach out to them. Make sure they're doing okay. Ask them to come back. So that's the first part. Second part is creating hope in your clubs. And today was a great example of that. And I see Creating Hope in the Club is done through membership and retention. How fantastic to walk in today and to greet 9 brand new Rotarians. Y'all are a growing club. You're good at retaining your members and are growing, so please keep continuing doing that. Not so much in all the clubs around our district. We lost a total of 2,000, since in the last 5 years, we lost 2,044 members of our district. We're currently sitting about 2,100. So we've lost the equivalent of the entire district in 5 years. And about 50% of those leave between the second and fifth year of being Rotarians. And from what we've seen, it's from a couple things. First off, it's they don't understand the cultures of the club that they join. So make sure that your new members understand what's expected of them and what they can expect from your club. And the other thing is give them something to do. Get them engaged right off the bat. How many of y'all think Rotary is a service organization? Raise your hand. How many of y'all think it's a membership organization? So one of our international presidents a while back said, Rotary is a membership organization that does service, because without members we can't do service. I'd like to take that one step further. I think Rotary is a relationship organization that needs members to do service, because everybody in here joins for different reasons, right? Dr. Dow, why did you join Rotary? For the programs. How many of y'all raised because it was a good thing for you to do for your business? You don't have to put your hand up, that's okay. How many of you all did for other reasons? But why do you stay? The people. Look around the room. You develop relationships with people and strong bonds. And so that's what it's all about. The third thing I'll talk to you about creating hope in the world, is creating hope in our communities around the world. There's 2 ways we do that. We do that through service, and we do that, in my opinion, through supporting the Rotary Foundation, particularly the annual fund. Because service is what we're all about. And I think the opening blessing talk, I love the way that was done. Service is what we're all about. It's why we started. And this club is very good at doing service. This club is also good about supporting the foundation. The annual fund gives us the opportunity to send money back to your club every 3 years when that money is used, and it comes back to the club for local projects, for doing global grants, for doing vocational scholarships, all kinds of great things. So please continue to do service and support the foundation. So that's how we create hope in the world, is focusing on those 3 areas. Before I close, I want to talk about one thing real quick, 2 things. And then once President Rosemary rings the bell, we got a service project out here that's mental health focused. We're going to be creating health and hygiene kits for our unhoused friends. And I'll give you an orientation to it once we get out there. It's a round robin thing. But none of these are coming home with me. We're going to do about 160 bags. And I'm going to ask each of you to take a couple to put in your car with you, so when you come across somebody in need, you can roll down the window, look them in the eye, and hand them a bag. And whatever's left after everybody takes some, I'm going to leave with your club to use as you see fit, because I know you have organizations here in Waco that could definitely use those. But if you all would pick up this card, should be several on the table. By the way, there's a theme pen that I ask you to take as well. It is a stick back pen. If you prefer a magnet back pen, let me know after the meeting, and I can certainly get you that magnet pen, because I've got both. But I want to talk about this rack card, and we're going to start on the side with the cruise. And how many of y'all know your assistant governor fairly well? You know, she goes on cruises all the time, so she's having us go on a cruise in January. I'm just kidding. But we'll start on the one with a vote on it. And what this is advertising is our district foundation gala. It's going to be held January 20th at the Sheraton Austin Georgetown Hotel and Conference Center. And for those of you who've been to Foundation Gala before, it's going to have this one's going to have all the pomp and circumstance, all the awards, all the formality. But we're trying to make it more fun. And one of the ways we're going to do that is instead of having plate meals, we're going to have food stations with food from all around the world where Rotarians serve. The one thing I got voted down on was having, for those of you that know what haggis is, we're not having a haggis food station, so you'll be okay with that. But so that's going to be a lot of fun, and I would encourage you to come down and join us for that. The big thing about that, and why I think it'll be important, is because we have a very special guest who's going to be the guest of honor keynote speaker. And that's a guy named Mario de Carmona, who will be he's got a couple other names in between, but Mario is from Brazil, from Sao Paulo. And in 2 years, he's going to be the president of Rotary International. And so this will be his first official visit to a district in North America since he became the president nominee. So it'll be a great time to get to know the guy that's going to be leading all of us in a couple of years. But if we flip it over the back, on the dark blue, the red, white, blue side, this is something I'm pretty excited about. And that's our Conference of Clubs, which will be May 3rd to the 5th in Killeen. And you all hosted the Conference of Clubs here 2 years ago, right? 3. Time slips by, doesn't it? So people say, okay, so why Killeen? You know, sometimes they hear, well, what good can come out of Killeen? But I'll tell you what good can come out of Killeen, and that's 40,000 young men and women who raised their right hand and sworn to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's the home of Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood. And what I see is a strong tie between the service of self Rotary and the selfless service of the United States Army. And so I want to give our Rotarians from across our district the opportunity to step into the story of these soldiers and get to see what their life is like a little bit. So how we're going to do that is on Friday night, this weekend, we're going to have a social in the brand new National Mounted Warrior Museum, which is the Army's newest museum, currently located outside of the front gate of Fort Cavazos, which I might tell a guy who can give you a private tour. But it is the Army's newest museum. It'll open in February, so it'll still be brand new once we get in there. On that Saturday, we've got some business to do in the morning, but in the afternoon, we're going to have a demonstration by the 1st Cavalry Division Horse Detachment, which is a unit of soldiers that is hand-selected, that does performances on horseback, dressed in the mid-1800s cavalry uniform. They've been in the Rose Parade, they've been in presidential inaugurations, and if you like rodeo, their horsemanship is better than any rodeo person you've ever seen, because they're shooting things and they're acting things with sabers and things. And then we're also going to take the opportunity to get you all into some of the simulators that our soldiers use to train, like the M1 tank simulator, and the Bradley fighting vehicle simulator, and the helicopter simulators. So we're going to do a lot of cool stuff that will get you to see what it's like to be a soldier. And if there's a live fire going on, there's no promises on the ship. But if they're out on the range in a live fire, I want to get us out there because it's a lot of fun to watch things blow up. And then that night at dinner, at each table, we're going to invite a soldier and their spouse, if they have one, to come sit with you at each table, so you can get to know them. We'll also have the 1st Cavalry Division Band playing our entertainment that night. And something very special to me, and for those of you who know what a Gold Star family is, they're a family who unfortunately lost a loved one in combat. There is a club in this district who has volunteered to sponsor any Gold Star families that want to come. So that'll be another unique opportunity for you to get to know our soldiers and their families. So I encourage you to come to both of these events. We'd really love to see you here. It's not that far down the road for either of these. And I want to thank you all for this opportunity to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. We really appreciate your words and your support of Rotary. And as a token of our appreciation, I don't usually give speaker gifts, so this is very unique. I think you should open it now. when you go to pets training. All kinds of things happen. We appreciate you being here today. I'm probably as much responsible for our uh-oh as you are, and so you've been very gracious, and we do appreciate that. I'd like to re-welcome our student guests today. We're glad that you came. We wish you luck, and I've invited you to stay and help with our service project if you have the time. I want to re-welcome, well, Valerie, I think, has had to leave, but that young lady has really pushed and pushed and pushed to get this Rotaract Club started in Baylor. It's actually in Baylor's hands right now, and she just needs a few more details that we're working on. And the Rotaract Club of Baylor will be launched, and we hope that she sets an example for many other Rotaract clubs that would come on board. We want you to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving since we won't see you. Again, we'd like to thank and appreciate our veterans. I hope you all enjoyed the previous Rotary program about the vets that we sent out. That was a unique Eagle Scout project, and so we're real happy about that. Our next meeting is November the 27th, so that's the Monday after Thanksgiving. We will not have turkey and dressing in your box lunch, okay? If there are any box lunches left, do we have left? No, we have none left today, so we don't have any to sell you. Worked out fine. Our program on the 27th will be brought to us by Larry Smith, and it will be on the eclipse. Coming up April 8th. You said 9. 8. Okay. Are there any other comments or announcements? With that, please stand. We'll do the four-way test and then go to our service project. Is it the truth? Is it